Seattle drone pilot helps track down stolen cars. I've been hearing about cars being stolen a lot lately. This news story here, I've seen drones flown in Portland. I haven't necessarily seen them in Seattle. Here we go. Some of the footage from this drone being flown by 𝐏𝐞𝐳 7 here in Seattle. It's mind-blowing because we're not talking about a chop shop. We are talking about a chalk several blocks long along a river, along a waterway. I mean, chop shop, environmental issues. Yeah. That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about a private citizen flying his drone along, finding somebody's car, getting in contact with that person. Let's do this. Before we do, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Sean Reynolds. I own a couple of real estate companies. Why wouldn't I be reading about some guy flying his drone along and helping somebody find their stolen car? That needs more coverage. We need to cover this. Let's get into it. Fed up and frustrated with the increase in stolen cars across the Puget Sound region, it really has been off the hook. I park my car in my garage all the time now. I'm always worried when I leave it out. I'm like, is somebody going to steal it? Yeah, maybe. And I'm in a relatively safe neighborhood east of Seattle. But man, all across Puget Sound area. A West Seattle man is taking matters into his own hands. He's using his drone to connect car theft victims to their stolen vehicles. You'll read stories here in Seattle about cars just being taken all day long. Even just a little bit outside of my neighborhood, I read a story the other day. I think it was in Nextdoor, one of those app things. And the story was somebody was warming up their car before they were taking their kids to school, went out to take little Johnny and Susie to school. Vehicle is gone. How frustrating would that be? Okay, I thought it was safe here. I guess not. My car is gone. Due to safety concerns, he wants to use only his first name, Tony. Tony is the ambitious drone operator. Wonder if he's licensed. Do you think Tony's yeah, I would hope so. It's one of those things. If you're not flying for commercial purposes, you got a little drone under whatever it is, 400 grams. I can't remember what the weight is. You don't have to have a license. My guys here who fly for doing, the commercial, we take drone video for homes that we sell. They've got to be licensed. I think people appreciate that someone is actually doing something to look, see, and try to find their stolen property, said Tony. Unfortunately, it's going to take us citizens to do the work that the cops can't. Now, why can't the cops do the work? That whole defund the police thing and then taking a big poop across anybody who is affiliated with law enforcement for a couple of years there. It's not really working in the citizens' favor, is it? No, it's not. That situation has gotten worse. Keep seeing stories about number of police that are retiring, quitting, whatever, and how many few hires we're making, while our city council argues about, well, should we give them a bonus or not to keep them employed or to create a bonus situation where new people are encouraged to become police officers. That is not going well here in Seattle at all. So we don't have enough cops is the bottom line. And these thieves know you can steal a car all day long. And guess what's going to happen? Odds are nothing. Absolutely nothing. So you've got cars being stolen all day long. It's wild. Yeah, and then the armed hijackings, craziness, right? Tony says he flew his drone Thursday over a chop shop operating in plain sight beneath the First Avenue Bridge in Seattle. So this is just down from downtown Seattle. So literally like due south. There's the 𝐸𝐸 Riverway. That is the 𝐸𝐸 Indian tribe. And it's the 𝐸𝐸 tribe that everybody pays homage here. Hey, we know we stole your land, but we're going to tell you we stole your land and feel better about it ourselves. That's literally the kind of the way I see it. I understand there's way more nuance than that. But when I see people saying, we want to recognize that this is land that was once owned by the 𝐸𝐸, I don't know. Yeah, crazy, right? So he flew his drone Thursday over a chop shop operating in plain sight beneath the First Avenue Bridge in Seattle. It's on a riverway. You want to talk about environmental concerns. I mean, how about go do that? Don't worry about the electric car versus gas car. Just get the oily transmission leaking vehicles being torn apart away from the river, carrying said water out to the Pacific Ocean. How about that for doing something for the environment? I can get behind that. I'm okay with that. The rest of this stuff, calling an arena climate pledge arena while you've got this stuff going on just down the road, seems a little hypocritical to me, right? I mean, it just does. I saw guys walking around with Sawzalls and angle grinders. For those of you not in the tool know, Sawzall, I used a Sawzall to cut up an old hot tub a couple of weekends ago. That was some fun. Yeah, fiberglass. Sawzall's got that angled blade and it goes in and out. You just got to kind of try and hang on while it just cuts and jars your teeth. An angle grinder, that's for like taking off serial numbers and, it's got that angle on it because it's an angle grinder and you basically grind down metal surfaces and you have sparks go everywhere. Very exciting. Many cars there were with no license plates. Interesting. Why would that be? That were completely disassembled, engines missing, hoods off. So I decided after reading this news story that I'm going to do a podcast on it. I'm going to have my, why wouldn't I have my drone operator guy go down and shoot this? I need to go see it too. I mean, this is literally out in the open, not far from downtown Seattle, in an area that it's not way out in the boonies. It's not out in the sticks. It's pretty close in. And yet it seems to be in no man's land. And so the police haven't heard of it. And they don't have anything that matches up with an address where they're like, oh yeah, that's under investigation. Like, we'll need to get back to you. Tony, and that's probably because there aren't enough cops to keep the city streets safe in Seattle. So stolen cars, you guys are kind of on your own. That's the bottom line here. People are on their own. Tony posted, and I'll follow that up with logical reasoning as to why that is. Tony posted pictures from this flight on a Facebook group page called PNW Stolen Cars. Now, if you don't think we're on our own on this stolen car in Pacific Northwest, PNW stands for Pacific Northwest. Stolen Cars is a Facebook group. How many members do you think this group has? How many members? Couple hundred? Couple of thousand? Try almost 60,000 people. If you live in a smaller town, how many people are in your town? If you go to like a really big sporting event, you might be looking at 60, 70,000 people in said arena. That's how many people are in this Facebook group. That's how many cars are being stolen. People are finding them, trying to get them back to their owners. I mean, this is crazy. People are on their own with stolen cars. I mean, just, the police will come out, they'll take a report. Hey, sorry, so much of this going on. Love to help you out, but we got to go work on whatever murder is happening down the road, right? Minutes later in Renton, Jessica Orth and her father, Robert Orth, saw the post and instantly made a connection. That's my car. Watching my car in this drone video. What? Oh, man. So that same day on Thursday, Robert Orth stopped by the Fred Meyer on Rainer Avenue South in Renton to run a quick errand. Orth said he was inside no more than 10 or 20 minutes. When he came back out, he was stunned to find his car missing. Robert contacted police and had his social media savvy daughter post on the Pacific Northwest Stolen Cars page. In this situation, you have a veteran that's 80 years old that depends on a vehicle for his independence, said Jessica Orth. Just to go to the store, doctor's appointments, stuff like that. You need a car to get around. It's a pain in the ass to ask other people for ride. Riding the metro? Nah, they're smoking meth on there. Smoking fentanyl on the metro. They're not taking the bus. This isn't the first time Robert's car has been stolen. In November 2020, it was taken from his senior living facility in Renton. That is low. If you are stealing cars from a senior living facility, you deserve to be hung up by your thumbnails, right? And whipped with a wet noodle. With the help of Jessica and that very same Facebook page, he was able to get it back. This is back in 2020. He's round 2. However, from Fred Meyer, gets his car stolen from Fred Meyer. It's horrible. However, this time they're not sure there will be a happy ending. If your car's in this chop shop, I don't think it's going to have a happy ending either which way. This just looks like a rough, couple of block situation. He didn't deserve this. He didn't deserve this at all, said Jessica Orth. Jessica and Robert Orth are grateful to Tony for locating their car, but are disappointed authorities have been unable to help them get it back. All three want to know why the city of Seattle hasn't cracked down on what looks like a massive operation in the Duwamish Valley. It does look like a massive operation. I mean, I saw just a little bit of footage. It looks like dozens and dozens of cars. I don't know. Is it 75 vehicle? Is it 50 vehicles? 75? You can't really tell. It's like there's just all kinds of, paraphernalia and torn out pieces and, chop shops type stuff, Sawzall and angle grinders. Surely the South Precinct or whomever is responsible knows about this place, said Robert. Something has to be done, not just for us and some old 1991 Honda Accord, but for the future victims. Yeah, this is kind of what we're dealing with. All other crime has been kind of let go. We're only dealing with the worst of the worst stuff going on. Everything else, it's still illegal to steal cars in Seattle. It's still illegal to steal cars in Portland. But if you do, there's not much in the way of anything bad that's going to happen to you if you get caught. It's like, and that's the big if. So many of these crimes are happening. There's no repercussions whatsoever. This is just the nonsense you have to live with. And so oftentimes we're seeing these cars being stolen from really nice areas because that's where you've got the nice cars. And then they're taken to an area like this and they're just torn apart. I did a podcast, I don't know, was it a month or two ago, about a big homeless encampment in Portland that had kind of a ride along with police officers. They came up with, I don't know, was it 4 or 5 or 6 stolen vehicles? Just quick run of the plates. Oh, yeah, that one's stolen. Oh, yeah, that one's stolen. So it's kind of another reason where people say, the homeless people, they're just down on their luck. They're not really harming anybody. This is one more of those things where you're like, now, wait a minute. Some of these encampments, they're tearing cars apart. We've seen bicycles, and I think bicycles are more important in a downtown urban area, because if you're in an urban park and you're parking out a car, like say a Ford F-250 or 350, that according to this article, made me worry about mine, which is in the shop, of course, right now, but it's okay there because it's not going to get stolen, right? But the F-250s and 350s don't have any the older models don't have any stealing equipment on them, anti-theft. And you know what? I'm actually not that worried about mine being stolen, because any thief is going to look at my vehicle and go, that gets like 2 miles a gallon downhill with a tailwind. I'm not going to steal that. I mean, literally. I mean, if you punch the gas hard enough, I feel like you can kind of just see that gas gauge just dropping. I've got 2 decent sized tanks and I feel like I'm constantly filling one of them up. It's bad gas mileage. So if you want to steal my truck, good luck with that. I'd rather you didn't. I like my truck. I'd rather be able to do, yard work and important stuff like that. But yeah, you got this 91 Honda Accord. Those always get stolen too, don't they? Because they're so damn reliable and they're easy to steal. I remember my kids had a black Honda like in 2000 and we were always worried about it getting stolen. And half the time these things are being stolen to go do a crime. And then you just dump it. I mean, it's like a free Uber, right? I mean, who needs Uber when you've got the ability to just crack out an ignition, get that bad boy on the road, take off the rear license plate and away you go, or throw a different license plate on. And you don't have to worry about it because odds are you're not going to get caught. And if you do, I know it's the 51st time you've been caught for stealing vehicles, but this time we believe in you. We know that you're going to be a changed person. Therefore, we're just going to let you go on your own personal recognizance and do better next time. I mean, that's why these criminals think that they can do this, and not only think, but are doing this, because there's really no repercussions for them not to. I mean, if you're going to steal cars and part them out or joyride them or take them to the next crime you're doing, it's kind of like right now, the world is your oyster. And for so many of these crimes, property theft of any kind, we don't have enough cops to keep basic civil services going on, let alone stuff like parted out cars and stolen cars. We had and speaking of homeless encampments where people want to say, there's nothing going on bad there. We had a homeless encampment catch on fire. Smoke was billowing up from I-5 in downtown Seattle to the buildings in downtown Seattle. They could see it. We had such a big fire that just everybody was like, what's that? Is an office complex on fire? What happened? Did the wood section in Home Depot catch on fire? Because that is some smoke. Nah. Homeless encampment. Yeah, the garbage acts like tinder. Poof, right? That's a big smoke signal they got going on there. Yeah, I guess it was just mammoth. When you get a single fire that has multiple news stories, that's when you know it's a big one. But this is just what we're doing here in Seattle. And we got people flying drones, identifying stolen cars. We've got chopped blocks, because this doesn't qualify as a shop, because it's not limited to just one shop. And if you can fly a drone over an area like this and go, yeah, that one's being torn up. Oh, that one is apart. Oh, yeah. And if a citizen can do that, this is, pretty much right out in the open, right? It's just what we're doing in Seattle right now. Wild times. All right, that's it. I hope your car doesn't get stolen. I hope my car doesn't get stolen. But odds are, one of our cars, if you're in one of these cities, not good, is it? No, it's not good. Next election, be careful who you vote for. That's the bottom line, right? That's what we got going on. Thanks for being here. We'll catch up soon. Till then, stay safe. Keep your car safe too. Bye for now.